Well, as the cost of living goes up, so does the minimum wage. That's what the governor said in her budget presentation yesterday. But lawmakers and advocates of the Raise the Wage Act say with record inflation, the governor's plan won't cut it.
Our Capitol correspondent Emil Taligi has the very latest.
Right now, minimum wage in New York ranges from $14.20 an hour to $15 an hour. Advocates are pushing for a minimum wage of $21.25 an hour by the year 2027 and then indexed to inflation.
The state should not be in the business of codifying poverty wages. All we're asking is that at a time when corporate profits are at an all-time high and inflation is the highest it's been in several decades, that we respond to this moment in the right way for once.
Sponsor of the bill, Senator Jessica Ramos, says the minimum wage portion of the governor's budget presentation was mistakenly listed under the For Youth section.
There is this myth that minimum wage earners are somehow teenagers in New York State, and the truth couldn't be further from that. Only 5% of minimum wage earners in New York State are teenagers.
The governor's proposal reads, after reaching $15 per hour, each region's minimum wage would increase consistent with the year-over-year consumer price index. This bill caps annual increases at 3%. Paul Sun, State Policy Program Director at NEWS10, says the outcome of this proposal would hardly make a difference.
Specifically, the governor's proposal would deliver very small raises of about 40 cents an hour each year, which translates to about $670 a year or $13 a week more for the average affected worker.
Assembly Minority Leader Will Barclay says he's on board with indexing minimum wage to inflation, but thinks raising the wage would be too costly for businesses.
Maybe an employer could handle an increase, large increase in the minimum wage, but ultimately they can't afford to, up the wages throughout the whole pay or employee, scale. So we'll see. I mean, I think it's problematic. I do think we ought to have a conversation about it.
Reporting in Albany, Emil Taligi.